Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video, we are going to take a look at the new Ultra Space Time Zenkai Rush Super. So this is basically a kind of buffed up version of the Ultra Space Time Rush, and it's pretty cool. It's super duper valuable actually for a ton of people. It's a great way to catch up on Zenkai power for Zenkai awakening your units, and it's actually a lot easier than the normal version of the Zenkai, so you can get yourself a lot more Zenkai medals than you would normally. You can actually get up to 3 times the amount as well, so that's really cool. Now the concept is exactly the same as the normal space-time rush, so there's really nothing too crazy with it. It's very straightforward, super easy to power up a ton of characters and just basically get kind of your backlog of Zenkai's out of the way, or manage to fully Zenkai some of those units you really want to. The only big change is that there isn't an adjustment to the amount of Zenkai you can buy, so you can still only buy 30 Zenkai slots at a time, so 3000 Z awakening power at a time. But that's basically it. It's just basically an augmented, beefed up version of the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush, which is really awesome actually, and I think is a great thing for a lot of players. If you go to the Zenkai store, you can see obviously how many medals you have, but also of course all of these Z awakenings as well. There's also been some new awakenings that have been added in for different gear, so that's also something that's going to be pretty helpful towards you and pretty cool as well. Obviously, there are more than the usual amount of rushes, but these are distinctly a bit easier than they were before. To get these Zenkai medals, you're going to have to complete the trials, and make sure you complete all the trials for every single stage of the rush. Now, the one cool thing is you can auto-select and select the option to use characters for trials. There's an option that allows you to actually choose or have the game auto-select units to complete the trials, which can range from being easy to being somewhat difficult, depending on which rush you're currently doing. But as I said, the scaling is a little bit easier to handle. You can see there's a 4 trials option to tick, should you want the game to build you a team to specifically finish the actual trials that are being faced. So very simple actually, and super duper easy. Honestly speaking, I think most players should be able to clear out at least up to rush 4. I don't know if I'll do a video on clearing each rush or the final boss of each rush. I'm not exactly entirely convinced that that's necessary, but you guys can let me know in the comments if that's something you would prefer, or if you'd like me to cover in a bit more detail. But yeah, generally speaking, players shouldn't really have a problem with anything up to rush 4, and most veteran players should easily be able to clear all other rushes as well. For just the sake of demonstration, I will show you the final battle of the first rush and just explain obviously how it all works. So you'll see we have a grade of A. This is because we've cleared every single trial up to date. Again, reminder, you don't have to clear the trials and win. You can use units to clear the trials, you can still lose the fight, and then you can retake on the fight and the trials will still count as being completed. So you don't have to even win the fight with the characters from the trials. You can just use the characters that match the trials, lose, and then take a stronger team that's more suited to the challenge in and complete it that way. So I think it's, generally speaking, quite simple when you look at it that way. It's a lot easier to handle and much better to kind of run through. So yeah, obviously we're now taking on this one. The trial was to use a Saiyan, so I've decided to use only event exclusive characters just as a way to basically display for players if they are interested, some free to play options. But yeah, generally speaking, this first rush especially is super duper easy, so you shouldn't have any issues, and the AI generally is very simple. There's no real gimmicks to these fights beyond the beyond the simple fact that they are strong. So they're strong, they can cause you some damage. That's really about it when it comes to Ultra Space Time fights. They just generally beefed up enemies, and using battle bonus characters will help you out quite a lot, especially with doing damage It's very, very, very super important. But yeah, that is basically it. The concept remains the same for all the rushes. Like I said, if people are interested enough, I will do a video about each of the rushes and basically how to beat them. Maybe I will live stream myself taking on the rushes. I'm not too certain. We'll just have to see. But yeah, basically it is a fairly simple situation. So yeah, for the most part, super duper simple. Very, very straightforward. And I think most people won't have a problem with clearing at least the first 4 rushes. And as you can see, if you complete all the trials, you get a nice chunk of Zenkai coins to awaken your units. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.